Good morning, and hey now, PASW staff, clients, friends joining us. Welcome to Thursday's class. We've had, just so much fun this week. We looked at The Godfather, we looked at Cole Porter, we looked at Vivaldi. We're just going all around the globe, and this is just so much fun information that we're learning together. Remember, learning is supposed to be fun. So, I don't know about you, but I'm getting homesick for LA. We need to come back to Los Angeles because we've just been away way too long, and I think we should go back to learning about some of the history of our city, the city that we all love. So we were in Indiana with Cole Porter's farm, which actually he didn't really spend that much time at. He was just born there, and then we went to Venice, right, to look at Vivaldi and the Four Seasons and that beautiful music that he wrote. Let's travel. Let's go to what we're going to be talking about, a beautiful piece of land, an island. Yes, LA has its own little island, I guess. It's not too little, but we're going to be talking about the really magical place, Catalina Island. So the Catalina Island's about 30 miles southwest of Long Beach, and it's pretty big. I mean, it's 22 miles long and 8 miles across, and it's been there forever. At least there's been inhabitants on that island for 7,000 years, and then Europeans first kind of came to settle there, and then Cabrillo in 1542. It's not fair to say discovered it, but kind of made it part of the land. But mostly it was uninhabited for, with just kind of cattle herders, and people didn't really know what to do with it because it's, this is the early 20th century, and LA and Hollywood is being developed, and it's kind of hard to tell what do you do with this piece of land that's far enough for a destination, but still close enough to be, part of LA. It became a part of LA County in 1913, but for the most part, George Shadow bought the land, and this is in the this is in the 1890s, and it wanted to make it a destination, but didn't really know quite how to do that. It wasn't until William Wrigley came along, and we know Wrigley's chewing gum, right? And Wrigley Field in Chicago. But he came and just thought this was a fabulous place, and really kind of made and invested millions into making this a destination place. And in 1919 bought it out and put in millions. It's also, and then a few years later, it's funny because a movie studio came out to make a movie, and they bought 14 bison out to the island, but they left the bison there because they were done with their movie, and because of that, there's tons of bison hanging around there. At least 200 bison still there today. So part of what Wrigley did was he made it this beautiful destination by building a casino, and there wasn't gambling there. I'm sure there was gambling there, but the most part, casino from the Italian word like gathering, so it was more of a place where you could gather. And in 1921, the Chicago Cubs would play out, use the island for spring training for many years. And in World War II, it was also closed to tourists and used for military training facilities. So it's had a lot of use over the years. But the casino is a 12-story building, and it's cool because he built this wonderful theater too, and the main floor, and had a ballroom and a promenade on the upper level. It's still all there, by the way. This is a happy story, so don't worry. And moguls that we've talked about, Louis B. Mayer and Samuel Goldwyn, they came by and to the casino, and they would preview their newest movies there in the Avalon Theater. And the Avalon, it has about 1,100 seats, and it's a single massive screen. It has a pipe organ, and it must have been so fun back in the day to go out and see some of these movies. And this is the time, if we look at the theater that opened in 1929, the big thing that happens in 1929 is a stock market crash. And this is going to change people's lives and livelihood. The other big thing for Hollywood is that it's the first year of the Oscars. That's at the Roosevelt. And we looked at the Roosevelt Hotel earlier. And if we think of 29, what is that? I mean, that's what's coming into movies. What's the silent era is going out. And now we're getting talkies, right? So a lot of the talkies and are being screened here. And so they're and a lot of bands too, Benny Goodman, Tommy Dorsey, bands that we've talked about, also played out here. It was just a divine, wild time. There was, obviously, this was still during Prohibition too. I mean, it didn't end for a few years later, but I've read stories that, of course, Catalina was a good place to smuggle booze and smuggle stuff. And I do think that there was some gambling laws, because you can't gamble in LA, but if you were a certain distance outside of the radius, so there would be these boats that were owned by mobsters, and the boats would be just like a few feet away from where it was legal to gamble. So there were little tricks of and perks of being out in Catalina for business purposes, of course, but I think there was a lot of shenanigans going on out there that were maybe not completely legal. And there's a great song called Avalon that was built, written for the Avalon Theater. It was popularized by Al Jolson, and it's a great song. So it even has its own little song out there. But Hollywood people loved it as a getaway, as a rendezvous. Howard Hughes would use it. He would have his yacht out there, and Clark Gable would hang out there. It was a divine time to be out there, because like we said, it's kind of a vacation, but not too far from Hollywood. You could get back into the city pretty quickly. And Natalie Wood, unfortunately, drowned out there in the waters near the two harbors. So that was over Thanksgiving in 1981, and that's still talked about because it was ruled an accidental death. But of course, we know her and her husband, Robert Wagner, they were having some arguments, and Christopher Walken was out there, and we don't know nobody knows exactly what happened. It was probably an accident, but unfortunately, there was a death out there that was very famous, because she was part of she was one of the most famous movie stars in the world. So that happened near there. I went out there once to camp. There was a wedding that my mom's cousin got married out there, and it was just lovely, and it was so fun to be a part of that. But I haven't gone to Avalon, so let's go at some point. So this is a nice little vacation away from LA, but still looking at part of our city, Catalina Island. Beautiful, beautiful, and must have been a lot of fun back in the day. But you know what? I mean, it can still be fun. We'll go after this pandemic, I'm sure. So hope you enjoyed this. And tomorrow we see the film scoring results for The Godfather. I can't wait to show you those. Okay, love you, miss you. See you tomorrow.